and it'll probably give you the pop-up, maybe that we are recording. And then one of the other things to note is that we do have the chat feature open. So it looks like it's maybe going to be a smaller group. So you're welcome to raise your hand or chime in. Miranda or Eva, if you see that and I do not, please feel free to stop me and then and interrupt. Otherwise, you can also put questions in chat. And that way, Ivana and Miranda from Academic Advising and International Programs will help answer questions as well. So the purpose of today's session is to talk about an EMBA format change. So I know we introduced this a little bit with the email. I do appreciate you guys attending and trying to learn a little bit more, because it is going to be an adjustment to what you know now as what the EMBA structure is. So one of the things that we are going to go over is why we're doing the change. We'll talk about what that does for policies, both academic and your F1 student visa. How and when is this going to take place? And then what do you need to do? And then we'll open it up for questions at the end as well, if you haven't asked them along the way. So first of all, what is this change and why are we doing it? So we are making the adjustment to where we will move the weekend sessions, not really move them, we're going to alternate them. So you will have one weekend session in a term where you come to campus and participate that way. Then you will have an online session. So it's going to decrease the travel time and that on-site residency commitment for the duration of the program. So it essentially will cut that in half for students going forward. It will lower the travel expenses for students, which we hear often is kind of a concern, and we know that can be a little bit of a challenge for the program. So we've heard that feedback, and we think this is a way that we can help mitigate that. And then also we believe it's going to improve the learning experience too. It's going to incorporate those multiple modalities. Both you'll have that residency on campus, that face-to-face interaction, where then you'll also have that online environment that will help you learn some different modalities in that academic structure, and be able to work with different students at times as well, because it may not, those online classes may not limit you to only being in class with students at your campus. So that might open it up to where you'll have some additional exposure and networking opportunities for our students that are across all three of our campuses, which are in Surprise, Arizona, our Overland Park, Kansas location, and Brookfield, Wisconsin. So we think that that is going to be a benefit to students as well. And then it also does meet the F1 student visa regulations also, which we're going to transition over, and I will let Kim speak to that just a little bit more, as well as the Director of International Programs, Assistant Director.
Thanks, Jamie. I just got promoted there.
I didn't realize that I was saying it, but it's close enough.
So as Jamie said, my name is Kim Hankins. I'm the Associate Director of International Programs. If I haven't had the opportunity to meet you, it's nice to meet you all through Zoom. And I do have my team members here, Miranda Bedell and Kennedy Carter, who are both DSOs, so you probably recognize their names as well. So we are very excited about this change. Just know that this is a change that the university has been discussing for a few months now, so it's not something that happened overnight. We took a lot of time to vet the changes that we are making to make sure that all of our students stay in compliance with their F1 visa rules and regulations. That was one of the, outside of academics, that was one of the top priorities, to make sure that we're staying in compliance. So as the slide says, this new format will continue to be in compliance with all the F1 student visa and CPT regulations. As we developed this new structure for the EMBA, we not only met with university senior leadership, but we did a lot of research with our peer institutions. We met with a few different CBIS field representatives who oversee us in terms of our CBIS records and those types of things. And then we also made sure that we reviewed our F1 rules and regulations to make sure that we continue to follow those compliance rules. Students will continue to And they must continue to maintain those academic and attendance standards for program policies. Now, some of these policies will change, and that will be communicated to you as we get closer to this change actually happening. But just so you're all aware, and as it relates to F1 students, as long as we have at least half of your program on ground, you will continue to remain in compliance as an F1 student. So the change that we're looking to, or that we will be making, is that students will be on ground half the time and online half the time. And this is something that we're seeing a lot of institutions moving to, because it's just obviously more convenient for the student, but expenses, that's going to help out a lot with travel expenses, so on and so forth. So in terms of attendance, as long as you're showing up for those in-person weekends and also showing up for your online courses, however that may look, which Jamie can speak to, you'll continue to remain in compliance with that aspect. CPT will not be affected. Fortunately, since this is a graduate program and this program requires CPT from day one, your CPT will continue to be continuous, if you will, throughout the duration of the program. So there's not going to be any stops or gaps in your CPT, even between, you know, that winter session between fall 2 and spring 1, we have a bit of a gap. Your CPT will continue just like it is now. The one major change that we are going to see, and this will only affect certain students, is those who are set to graduate in January. So January of any given year. So right now, our fall 2 terms always end in January. And so those students, their CPT goes until the beginning of January. Well, this change will result in their CPT ending in about mid-December, because that's when the actual term will end. Students will not come back in January to finish that fall 2 term. So if you are a student who has a program end date on their I-20 of January 31st, whatever the year may be, just know that's going to be bumped up to sometime in December. So you're going to end your program about a month early. So if you fit that category, you know, please plan accordingly, because that will affect your program end date. Everyone else, your program end date will stay the same, and there won't be any change there. So no changes with CPT. You'll still be in compliance with that. It'll be continuous. And then also, as mentioned on the screen, we will have several policies, including our attendance policy, our emergency leave policy, and our payment and refund policy. These policies will be changing to fit the new format requirements, but these will not take effect until this new structure goes into place, which will be in the, I believe, early summer term. So just know that these policies will continue as is for now, for spring 1 and spring 2. And then as we have these new policies available, they will be shared to you. So those are the main updates from international programs. If you have any questions right now regarding international, please feel free to include it in the chat. And then if you have any questions that come up later on in regards to your international status, please don't hesitate to reach out to international programs. And Miranda, I'll have you put our email address in the chat. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us as you have questions. And there's actually one question I'll address before we move on. Is there any impact on international travel? There will not be an impact on international travel. We still ask that students fill out or complete and submit that travel request form. The only thing is you'll continue to be required to be at the on-ground weekend sessions that will be scheduled. We'll have 3 of them now instead of 6 of them per year. So you'll still be required to be at those, and travel is not an excuse to not attend those weekends. If you travel during a term in which the course is fully online, that will be fine, but you are still required to stay engaged in the course and submit your assignments on time. If you plan any type of travel, whether it's domestic or international, and you know, you get to a place where you're not able to submit your assignments on time or whatever the case is, that will not be accepted. You have to plan accordingly. Not having internet service, not an excuse. Traveling, not an excuse, whether it's vacation related, work related, those policies will continue. So yes, you can travel internationally, but you will still be expected to engage in your academic coursework just as you currently are. And then let's see, the next question is, I have a visa appointment on an I-20. Is there any impact on that? I don't know of any impact that this will have. For that individual, if you could contact international programs, we would love to provide you with a letter that you can take with you to your visa appointment. So I recommend you contact us if you have not already, but this shouldn't impact anything in regards to getting those visas. Good question. All right, Jamie, I will hand the mic back to you.
Awesome, thanks, Kim. So as she noted, we've worked a lot with university leadership already. We will continue to do so. I didn't note earlier that I'm Jamie Fields, the Director of Advising. I do have Ivana, who is your academic advisor, on the call as well. You will get most of these announcements and future information from her from that EMBA email. But we are working through adjusting these policies, as Kim noted, that attendance policy, emergency leave, payment and refund. They won't significantly change. They will make sure that they maintain in compliance with both the government regulations as well as our academic and university regulations per accreditation as well. So those, as we get adjusted, we will send them out. Attendance will be critical going forward, like Kim noted, that you have the on-campus attendance as well as you maintain attendance in the online format, which we will discuss briefly kind of here in a second. So just make sure you're continuing to check your student email going forward as well. So kind of how is this change going to happen and when is it going to happen? Kim's noted that a little bit, but let's talk more specifics. It's going to be a little bit of a phased approach between the formats. So instead of coming to campus all the time as we transition to online, we'll have to work through that a little bit. So for 2024, there are a couple of dates that will change. We are transitioning and you'll have 4 weekend sessions in 2024 that you have to attend on site through this transition. Then moving forward in 2025, if you are still here with us, for those of you who haven't graduated or won't be leaving in 2024, that's when it will officially move down to 3 times per year, per calendar year. So, like I noted, we will alternate the on-campus terms with an online term. So the first term in every semester, so spring 1 and spring 2, that will be spring 1 would be on campus, spring 2 would be online, and that will rotate for the summer and fall semesters as well. We are not making this transition until after the early summer term of next year. So spring 1 and spring 2 are staying as normal with those on-site weekends as scheduled. Kim noted that students that were graduating in fall 2 would not extend into January. That does not happen until the fall 2 of 2024 term. So anybody that might happen to be on this or listening to this call later, if you're graduating in fall 2 of this year, you do extend into January because we're coming back like normal in the spring 1 term of 2024. Then again, March, you'll be on campus in 2024 for spring 2. And then early summer, you will have your initial weekend session that May 3rd through 5th on site. And then to phase out and move into an online course for summer, the final Friday session of that early summer term is going to be done virtually via Zoom on that Friday, the June 28th. It will be from 1 to 9 p.m. In the time zone, I believe probably of the campus. So we'll have more details on that coming out of your campus location that you normally go. It would be typically from 1 to 9 then. But like I said, as we transition and move through next year, we will be communicating these expectations very clearly leading up to those weekend sessions. Then in summer, you would have a fully online class, so you will not come to campus in June. You won't return to campus until fall 1, which is the August weekend. That date will stay the same. That was previously announced, that August 23rd through 25th. And then in fall 2, you'll finish up your final course of the calendar year in the online format as well. So these dates are outlined. And so you can see that there. We will send this out. I think it was in the initial email that was sent out last week. We'll follow it up as well with another email after the session today. And then these will be continued to be announced next year. Before I move on, does anybody have questions about those dates?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah, so my question is this. I'm supposed to be graduating in fall 2024, and based on the new calendar, July 1st to August 24 is online. So is that to say I am not supposed to come, is that to say I'm not supposed to be on campus for the August 23rd to the 25th? It's just those starting fall.
So do you have a class in the fall term, or are you finishing, is the summer term your final course?
So I think when I start my class from July 1st to August 24th, that's when I'm supposed to end.
So then you would not come to campus again. So your final term then would be online in summer. So you would not return for fall 1. So right now, excuse me, currently the way that the weekend sessions go, you finish a term on Friday, and then you start a new term on Saturday and Sunday. And then you come back and repeat and you finish that course on Friday. That structure is going to be changing going forward. It will, when you have an on-site residency weekend, all 3 of those days will be for one course. So for fall, those 3 days will all be towards your fall 1 class.
Okay.
Currently, moving forward, Ruth, if you've got specific questions about your schedule, you can reach out and schedule an appointment with Eva, or you can email her and she can answer those questions as well. And that goes for anybody that's got specific questions about your end dates. But you can also match them up with the calendars when we send this out as well. So Ruth, I am going to mute you for a second. I am going to talk about this format. If you've got other follow-up questions, please let us know. You can either put it in chat or unmute again. The format will change going forward as well. It currently you meet on what we call the end of week 8. So before you start that term, because of that transition with you finishing a class and then starting a new one. In this new format where you'll have all 3 days towards that specific course for that term, we are going to change that, not in August, but with the spring 1, 2025 term. It will be meeting at the end of week 1. So the expectation for on-site and on weekend or the on-campus courses is that your class will start on Monday. You'll have kind of Monday through Thursday to do some reading, maybe some prep work. There might be small assignments and prep for that weekend, where then you will meet on site and have class sessions Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all for that course, that specific course session. And then you'll go back and you'll have the remaining 7 weeks where you'll do stuff through Blackboard and engage in a more weekly format as well. Online, the courses will run, you'll have weekly assignments, and the course will always starts on Monday, and you have Monday through Sunday to complete those assignments. There will be discussion boards. There may be synchronous meeting times occasionally throughout the term. And then you'll have other assignments that will be due too. The structure will follow similar to what you have in that executive practicum course now, where the course starts on, that week starts on Monday, and then you have to submit your weekly memo by Sunday or Saturday in week 8. That's how the online structure will look going forward as well. So there will not be the overlap in terms as there were before. So if you were in an online course for your final course, you finish online and you wouldn't return to campus then that next term. Any questions? If you have questions, you can throw those in chat and we can approach that as well.
Hi, I had a quick question.
Sure.
So, apologies if I missed this and if you already addressed this, but what about the dates between December 14th and January 12th?
Yes, so it will be similar to now where you would still remain in compliance with the CPT, where you won't have any assignments. You'll just kind of have a break in that session. Kim, you can step in if I've overspoke there, but I do not believe there will be any changes to that.
Yeah, no, that's correct. That will not change. So you'll have kind of a break from your academic work, if you will. But because CPT is required for this graduate program, your CPT employment will continue. So your CPT as it's in CVIS will continue. You can continue working during that time. You can travel during that time. So nothing will change there in regards to your CPT. The only change that we'll see is for those who would graduate in January, they'll be graduating in December. So that means your CPT would end in December. But anyone who is graduating in another term during that December, January break, your CPT employment will continue.
Okay. Just to clarify further, there won't be any requirement for memos or anything, but we still do our work authorization during that period. Is that correct?
Yes, you would not be in a course or have any memo requirements during that break from December to where we return again in January.
Okay, understood. Thank you. And again, just to clarify this online, so this past October, we did them in class, on-campus classes. So December 14th, we would not need to come to campus to attend the final class?
For this current term?
Yes.
Yes, that is correct. You do not return in December. You'll submit your executive practicum memos online by the end of that week 8. And then your other course extends into January, and that's when you for the January 12th through 14th weekend, that's when you return to campus.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying my question.
Yeah. So Kim had previously noted this in regards to the travel discussion too, but for the online format, all assignments are due Central Standard Time. So if you're thinking about planning ahead or traveling during an online term, you do need to make sure that you understand that the time differences and when those submissions are due, because we will still have the strict kind of no late work policies, and there will be expectations around that. So this does free you up a little bit since you're only committed to coming to campus in 2024. It'll be 4 times, and moving forward, it would be 3. But you do have to really think about that academic modality too, and making sure that your travel plans or things outside of the classroom are not impacting your engagement in the classroom or those assignment submissions. So there will be strict attendance policies around the online format that you will have to make sure you maintain and follow. And again, those are being fleshed out currently, and we're revising that policy. So those will be announced more in the spring semester, so that you can be prepared prior to that summer start date, or that early summer start date with that summer semester. So it'd be important to make sure you understand again, spring 1 and spring 2 are absolutely not changing. All current policies remain the same, as do the dates. Early summer, the weekend session in May does not change. You will be on campus for the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The first time that anything changes is June 28th. Instead of returning to campus to finish the Friday session of your early summer term, you will have that via Zoom, which will require microphone and camera so that you're participating in that course. So be prepared to plan ahead now, be thinking about needing to get those things if you don't already have them. And then summer, you'll be at your first online course that starts on Monday, July 1st. And then the fall term is when you'll come back to campus for those 3 days, August 23rd through 25th. And then your fall 2 final course of 2024 would be online starting on October 21st. So
And I
again,
would
oh, yep.
also add for the June 28th Zoom session, I would plan on taking off from work as you normally would. Because you will be expected to have your camera on, microphone on. And again, academics are giving you the ability to do CPT. So your attendance that day will be required. So anyone who is trying to work and do class at the same time, that will not work. And it could affect your attendance. So please plan accordingly.
Great point. Thank you for noting that, Kim. Okay, so I highlighted a little bit of this already, but what do you need to do? So you've got to maintain compliance in the current format through that early summer term, including that final Friday session via Zoom. It won't be on campus, but you, like Kim just noted, you will have to maintain attendance that day for the duration of that session. Please keep checking your student email. It is very important that you're monitoring that because that's where all the announcements will go regarding this adjustment, as well as announcements about future sessions that we'll host like this in the spring leading up to that early summer transition in June when we're looking at that first Zoom session before moving online. If you've got questions, we will open it up here if anybody's got any last questions that they want to put in chat. The other thing you can do if you're concerned about your schedule or have questions, you can schedule an appointment with Eva using the OU Connect link. I believe she has it in her signature on her emails. So you can reach out to her that way. It connects directly to her calendar, so you can schedule an appointment in a time you know that she is free. You can also email EMBA or international programs or both at the same time because some of those usually questions concern both departments. So please feel free to reach out to us as well. But we will continue to keep you updated in this transition as we go. And we really do think it's going to be a benefit for the students. We will miss seeing you on campus every 8 weeks, but we will still be engaged with you in the online format. I think it will open up a lot of opportunities for you to network with other students, like we said, and then also it will help save travel costs and time for you too, while still kind of getting the best of both worlds academically with the in-person and the online formats.
Jamie, we have one question in the chat if you want to.
Okay, so the online sessions will not be via Zoom. That will only be on that early summer session where you've got that Friday. The online format will be more of a traditional online format where you've got the 8-week course and it's broken down into a weekly session. So it would run Monday through Sunday and it will have assignments throughout the week. Then there's usually a discussion post due midweek, Wednesday or Thursday, and then the final responses on Sunday. And so you will have active participation weekly, as well as additional assignments in there too. And so I will be honest that the format will feel a little bit heavier maybe in workload because all of that classroom content that you get from the instructor and those discussions for those 3 days on site in those terms is going to have to be correlated with the online environment. So you will get that through kind of reading and writing and discussion boards and completing additional assignments, reviewing the course materials, like I said, completing those assignments and just having that engagement. There will likely be some synchronous Zoom requirements in those course sessions as well. We don't have exactly what that looks like yet, but we will again announce that more next spring going forward. So that would be how you can expect the online format to work. You're welcome. And then how do you get the diploma if the course is changed to Zoom? So we do not hand out the diplomas on the weekend sessions anyway. When you complete the course, your instructor then has the week to submit the final grades. And then after that, the registrar's office has to do a degree audit and a review of your file before officially conferring your degree. There's usually about a 6-week time frame between when you complete the course and when your degree would be conferred, depending on when you submit your graduation application. So diplomas are then sent via mail to your address that we have on file after that 6 week or after that conferral period. And they usually arrive 4 to 8 weeks depending on the mail service then. And so that would be something that you would get through the mail anyways, depending on when you submitted your graduation application and you complete the course. You're welcome. Great questions. Does anyone have any other questions? Just, if you don't have questions or concerns, if you guys don't mind, just kind of like putting in the chat quickly if you're excited about this change, nervous about this change, concerned about it. How's everyone feeling so far? Anybody? Got it awesome? I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. We're not getting much feedback. So I can't see everybody on here. If you want to rather do a thumbs up or kind of want to get a gauge from people if this is something that you're looking forward to. Yes, liking that the travel time and reduces our expense. Okay, got a couple other thumbs up. Good. Thank you for sharing. I do appreciate you chiming in. So with that, we will kind of wrap this up, but like I said, we'll have continued announcements going forward. If you do think about questions that you didn't get answered today later, please feel free to reach out to us so that we can help ease any concerns or just reassure you. But we have put a lot of time and effort into making sure this transition goes smoothly for everyone, especially you as the student. So we want to make sure that we're here to support you. And we will, certainly be doing that through the spring semester and prep for these changes next summer as well. So with that, we will let you guys all go, and we will be sending out some additional information on this, just kind of a recap of what we covered today. So thank you so much for taking the time today to join us.